You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
All right, Black and White Sports fans, we're going to be talking about Rachel Nichols and Maria Talyor. Yes, we're revisiting this. I believe it was roughly like a year ago when the news broke that a conversation about Maria Talyor from Rachel Nichols at ESPN and another colleague was actually recorded, and it was leaked to the New York Times, and the New York Times put that out there for the whole world to actually read. And eventually Rachel Nichols was no longer at ESPN. She was actually pulled from all programming, and now she's actually landed at Showtime. And Maria Talyor, man, she actually tried to use that situation with Rachel Nichols to actually become the highest paid person at ESPN, Stephen A. Smith style. She wasn't that. She jetted out. She's over there at NBC. Well, Rachel Nichols went on All the Smoke podcasts with Steven Jackson and Matt Barnes, and she kind of dropped something here about being spied on. Over here on Outkick, Rachel Nichols says ESPN co-worker spied on her before Maria Talyor leak. Now, the reason she's saying that, folks, is because in 2020, the Marxist NBA of China went into that NBA bubble, and Rachel Nichols is actually hosting from a hotel room, new equipment, and the equipment kept recording, and ESPN obviously got a hold of it. And that person leaked their information to the New York Times, the tape. Well, let's listen into what Rachel Nichols actually had to say, man, because we know this was some woke on woke crime. Maria Talyor woke, ESPN woke, Rachel Nichols woke. And with Rachel Nichols being the white person, obviously that was not going to go very well for her once that audio leaked out. So let's go ahead. Let's listen in to what Rachel Nichols had to say. Let's play it.
And around the same time, I got a phone call asking me, would I step aside for Maria to host the NBA Finals and have me go back to being a sideline reporter? And they stressed it was my choice. They weren't telling me to do this because it was in my contract, but they were putting a lot of pressure on me. You know, I was being told, well, you're not a team player. Like, hey, I worked so long, decades for this job. I have done everything that was asked. We put on some great shows leading up to the playoffs, and I wanted a chance to do it. And at this time, I was also getting ready to leave for the bubble and went down there, and it was a different set of equipment than I had been using to broadcast at home. So my very first day, I'm there, I'm using the new equipment, and I didn't know that if you leave a particular app running in the background, that the line from my hotel room, looking into my hotel room to Bristol, would stay open. So I thought I was done for the day. I did the things you would do on your first day in a hotel room. I spent hours unpacking, called my husband, talked to my kids, called some friends, called my doctor. And unfortunately, that entire time, nobody back at ESPN told me that there was an open line to my hotel room and anyone who looked at the feed could see me. No one shut it off, decided, oh, she clearly doesn't know she's being watched unpacking or doing all these other things. And at least one person decided to just sit and watch and started spying on me like I was their own personal television show. And when they heard something they thought was juicy, they picked up their cell phone and they started recording my conversation on their cell phone.
A personal conversation?
Yeah, this was a conversation between me and a friend. We talked about a lot of different things, but then he brought up the article that had been in the paper about the lack of opportunities for people of color at ESPN, and we started talking about how my situation may intersect with some of the race and gender history of a network that is, again, well documented, is complicated history with both of those kinds of things and those issues.
Okay, so there you have it, guys. Rachel Nichols claims she was spied on by somebody at ESPN, and then they leaked it over. She said here that ESPN asked her to step aside from being the host of the NBA Finals to give it to Maria Talyor because, you can never be woke enough. They wanted Maria Talyor on there strictly because she was black, even though in Rachel Nichols' contract, Rachel Nichols is the one that's supposed to be hosting the NBA Finals. And they told her, well, you're not being a team player. You see, this is what happens when you play the woke game. It is a race to the most woke. And Rachel Nichols, she was out the door. However, Maria Talyor used that to her advantage and ended up moving over to NBC. ESPN is a complete dumpster fire, folks. A complete dumpster fire. I'm not surprised, it went down like this. I'm pretty sure that somebody probably spied on her at ESPN because the audio was out there. That audio was leaked. We did multiple videos on that on this channel a year ago. That NBA bubble, man, boy. Once the whole George Floyd thing happened, man, and also in this clip, she talks about the quote unquote murder of George Floyd. I'm not going to get into that. I digress. But what do you guys think of this? What do you guys make of Rachel Nichols claiming that ESPN spied on her and then leaked the juicy audio to the New York Times? And of course, the New York Times themselves are super duper woke as well. So you got 4 woke entities in this: ESPN, Rachel Nichols, Maria Talyor, New York Times. Yeah. You guys saw how everything played out. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and white sports fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.